Howdy mates, good afternoon. So here's an interpretive sign telling you about the geology of Oaks Quarry Park. So essentially this is telling you in summary that most of the rock that's here is your Brassfield limestone, and that was a common rock during the early Silurian period, in which they said was about 438 million years ago. But that whole formation right there is all Brassfield. And what's fascinating is if you look towards the top, like that top layer there that kind of has like an orangish color to it, that is your crinoid rich limestone. But then as you get further down along the rock strata, that's where you'll start to see more of your famous Bryozoans, which were basically filter feeders, as well as brachiopods, which are mostly shelled organisms. And of course you also had your mollusks, which were also shelled organisms as well. But it's all preserved within this strata. It's really cool because you're just looking at a glimpse of the past. So it was quite fascinating. As in geologic time, as the Ordovician period was ending, and then as it was entering into the Silurian, this region of Ohio was essentially 20 degrees to the south in terms of latitude. So it was actually below the equator at one point in history. And so this transition, at a point, the climate was becoming cooler, but then eventually, in a matter of a few years, the climate began to warm up again. And eventually the shallow seas rolled back in. And that's how, essentially, this particular limestone was able to form. But then, the limestone, though, goes through a process sometimes called dolomitization, which is where magnesium becomes present within the rock, and sometimes it can make it a bit more difficult for interpreting exactly what happened to the rock. But it just goes to show that even though Ohio is practically in a temperate climate, the rocks prove that there were once coral reefs thriving in this area. So just imagine, like, this climate used to be similar to that of Costa Rica, for instance, which hosts many different types of coral reefs. It's remarkable. But yeah, here it kind of tells you more about the Brassfield limestone itself. But yeah, so you can see crinoids, corals, stromatoporoids, brachiopods, bryozoans. So there's a lot going on. And over here it kind of tells you a bit about the composition. And here it gives you just the geologic time scale as well. So I know you guys probably can't read it too well, but if we go like right here, is around this period where the rocks began to form. And you have to figure, like, you look up, and that's where you have like your Triassic and Jurassic period. That wasn't until another practically 200 million years later. So even these rocks are older than the dinosaurs. What does that tell you? This rock has been here for a long time and has seen a lot of things happen. Yeah. I just wanted to show you guys this sign because I figured you guys would be interested in reading it, because it tells you quite a bit in one particular sign. But yeah, practically all of this rock surrounds the entire perimeter. So I think now I can understand why this place is now designated as a preserve. And you may be thinking, like, are we really allowed to collect rock samples? Well, usually they'll have it labeled in terms of like a sign if you can pick or not. Yeah, like technically you really don't want to pick directly off the wall because it can be a bit dangerous, simply because, you know, if you pull out a rock, it could cause other rocks to fall, and some of them could be huge and it would risk even killing you. So usually it's designated if you can pick any fossils here. But truly amazing. It's my first time here, so I'm surprised that like this place hasn't received more attention at all. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I posted an article the other day on both the business page and the group page. I shared an article relating to Ohio's geologic history. So that kind of gives you more of a, that gives you like a big overview, essentially, of like what geologic period rocks you'll see. So like technically where we are, we'll see a bit more of the Silurian and the Ordovician period type of limestone. But then, like, for instance, when I was at Hocking Hills about a week and a half ago, that's where it was at the Mississippian, which was slightly after. So, hope you guys learned something in this video. Fortunately, none of this rock is being used for commercial purpose, which originally it was going to. But until it was protected, that changed. So, hope you guys enjoyed it, too. Highly recommended spot. It's right in Fairborn, practically. So, well worth it. I hope all of you enjoy your Saturday, and Journey on a Journey is out. Take care, folks.